You tried AI once. You asked it a question. It gave you a garbage answer. You decided the whole thing was overhyped. That was the wrong conclusion.
Russ, so I took the time this week to read the dispatch that dropped on Sunday, like it does every Sunday. And I could relate to it from the standpoint of, yes, way back when you and I started talking about AI and large language models and what was out there, I went and said, okay, I'm gonna start using. I'm gonna get pretty handy with this stuff too, like Russ is. And so I opened up ChatGPT. I went to the little text bar there, text field. I typed in a question, and it gave me an answer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I couldn't really tell the difference between that and using the search on my phone or using Google search. They're the original search guys.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming that businesses, we hear all about it all the time. These businesses are using AI, they're incorporating AI. But man, they got to be using it for more than just a search engine, right?
Well, yeah. So the ones that are using it completely different than what it is that you're just saying. So I think what you're talking about, kind of everybody goes through that. A lot of people don't get past the point of what you're saying. So most people, guys that we've talked to, guys that know us on, sit down, they get at their computer, they load up something that, their son-in-law told them to, hey, take a look at this, or me telling you, hey, take a look at this, and you typed in a question and it answered it, which is, that's great. But we're not using the smartest tool in the world as the smartest tool in the world. So it sounds like an average intelligence, not the greatest intelligence that's available to us right now.
Okay. So again, this is Second Half Man Show. Today, we're going to be talking about how to use the world's most effective tool and use it in your arsenal, right? If you like what we're going to talk about today, please make sure you hit the like button. Don't be afraid to subscribe. We're looking for members of the Brotherhood. Don't forget about our weekly show. Drops every Tuesday, the Second Half Man Show. We also have a library of shows that we've dropped every Tuesday since the beginning of the year. You can find that in YouTube under Second Half Man Show. And again, I already spoke about the dispatch. Don't forget to sign up for the dispatch. It's our newsletter, and it drops every Sunday morning. So with that, how are these companies not just gathering information? Because basically that's what you're saying. We've done some previous shows. We've established the difference between information and intelligence, but I'm assuming what you're telling me is that they're using it more for intelligence purposes than they are information purposes, right? And I'm just using it for information.
Well, the ones that are using the intelligence correctly, yeah, they're using it completely different than everybody else, and there's a huge usage gap. So the Federal Reserve just came out with a study just a few days ago and said that only 18% of the U.S. firms are actively using AI in their businesses as of the end of 2025. Only 18%.
That ain't much. That's not much.
It don't sound.
That's not much with all the talk about AI every time you look at the news or you listen to radio or whatever.
Right. Even crazier than that is stupid. Only 8% of U.S. workers use it on a daily basis within those things. So it's the gap is huge, and for us, it's even bigger because Deloitte found that just 36% of Gen Xers and only 20% of boomers have tried AI at all. Not mastered them, just tried them. Tried them once. Less than 20%.
20% searchers. We're all searchers.
Yes, exactly. So there's a huge difference between what most of us are doing with this intelligence and what it's actually capable of. And that's all has to do with context. What's the difference between how the people that are using it effectively, using it to multiply their effectiveness and their business's effectiveness, and the rest of us are doing it, which is, okay, so I got some answers, and yeah, it helped me a little bit on my email. Totally different, and that's what we all need to understand.
When you continue to say, hey, you have to use AI, I probably need to get better at explaining it. So you got to get better explaining it to me about the whole use AI
All right.
thing.
So the whole difference is something that you already talked about. Us, members of the last analog generation, look at this computer screen, and some of us think it's a foreign thing anyway, but we look at it as, well, it's supposed to be so smart. I'm just going to ask it a question and I'm going to get the answer that's going to wow me. The younger folks, they don't look at it like that. Some of them, most of them, don't even look at it as an answer box. They're not really asking the questions. They're bringing, hey, these are my problems. This is, why my boss is so bad. This is why, what do I do about dealing with my girlfriend, or, those kinds of things. They use it as a sounding board, as here's my problems, help me figure out the problems. What we're really looking at here is the people that are getting the most out of this intelligence is, you need to have both. You need to have a context from where you're coming from, where your business is coming from, how you're utilizing it to wanting better outputs other than just, here's my question and give me an answer. What's awesome about it is that we, as the last analog generation, are in the prime position to be able to get the most out of it. We have such a huge advantage over other users, younger users, I should say, because of the decades of human pattern recognition that we have, the wisdom that we've built up over time, the things that we see and know is going on. We look at things differently. We have a reference point so that we can look at things more skeptically or question whether or not the answers that we're getting, make sense or not. Part of the reason you looked at your answer and saw that it was average is because you know what a non-average answer looks like.
So those are things we've learned, I'm assuming, over time. So when you say, hey, yeah, you ask it a question, I got an average question, I thought, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, the answer is okay, but it's not...
Yeah.
So it didn't make me feel like, hey, I got to use this tool every single day to make myself better, right?
Yeah, you do have to use it every day to.
But
yourself better.
My point was that I don't think I'm asking the right question, right? That's what I think is the problem. It's me.
The whole thing is about the compounding gap. Every time you use it, your context is getting bigger. It's learning more about you. It is maybe not specifics like what's your favorite color, but maybe it is. I'm sure, if you ask it what your favorite number is, it probably knows you by now, that it might be able to answer that for you. But that said, the compounding gap is really the biggest thing. If I do something today and I do it again tomorrow and I do it again next week and the week after that and the week after that, a month from now, my answers that I'm getting out of the intelligence are going to be so much better than the answers that I started off with when I was just asking a question. So the man who asks generic questions, general questions, and got generic answers last month, just by doing the reps over and over again, are going to get better answers in the future if the intelligence is allowed to work with that and expand its context every time it talks with you.
And I've seen that. I've played with it considerably now. My prompts for the large language model are getting better because prompt doesn't really mean questions. Prompts, is a directive for action too, right?
Right.
So the big question for me is going to be, okay, let's say I get to a level where I think I've got my reps in. I learned how to ask the questions. I got a little bit of knowledge on how to build these prompts. what's next?
First we have to recognize that, look, this is the trap of everything. So when we started talking about this, the average thought was AI is not that great. It just gives me really good average answers. And then we discussed a little bit about why that was. But the trap of all of this is not that it can or can't give you better answers. The trap lies in the assumption, that AI is supposed to be smart all on its own. And the reality of the situation is, it's not. It's supposed to be smart about you and your business situations. Give it a context about you so that it can be what you need it to be, not just what the average guy on the street's going to get from an average question.
So are we suggesting to our guys, right, to the guys in the brotherhood, that there's an easier way than spending months and months asking questions, so that, based on what you just said, for my AI to learn more about me, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, look, man, you need to.
That there might be a way. There might be a way to cut through some of that, or
you have
or
to.
What do you say?
You have to look at it this way. This is the greatest tool that's ever been invented in the history of mankind. I think that's what's going to end up being shown to us that way. But and you have to use it that way. But think about this: you're a business guy. You have employees. How far are you going to get down the road if you hire somebody for a job? They come to work. You don't tell them what it is that you do or how it is that you do it, or here's where you find answers, or here's what we've been doing, all this time, and this is how you get access to these files, and this is, what you say to a customer when they say this, and this. You don't tell them any of that. And the first day they come in and they don't do a damn thing, and you fire them at the end of the day because they don't even know where the hell the coffee maker is. It's like, that makes zero.
Okay, so most people own business. They don't do that in reality, right? We don't do that in reality.
You don't do that in reality, but that's exactly.
Right. We
how
also
you're
don't. We
this.
also don't look. Okay, but we also don't look at this as as an employee. We don't look at this, So that's probably why most people don't treat what you're describing as the greatest tool ever invented for us. They don't use it that way, right? They just don't.
No.
I mean,
and they need to. They need to stop thinking about it as a screen and a little prompt box that you type something in and read an answer. It could be it could be your co-creator, the tool that gets all the work done for you, provide you answers to things that you can't see. I mean, you and I think about this all day long on our own and not realize we're doing it, right? We have all these different areas in our life. We have what's happening in our self, in our own health, in our businesses, in our connections, in our relationships, and what it is that we're trying to do. And we have all these different things going on, and we have a limited capacity to keep all of that kind of straight when we are, and be able to lean on different things. And AI doesn't have that situation. The more that it knows, the more intelligence it can provide you. You and I get to the point in the day where you just say, "Oh, I'm tired in the afternoon, and I'm not giving the attention to what I'm supposed to do." But the intelligence, given all that information for you, can connect the dots and say, "Hey, dumbass, you're feeling down right now because you had this, and this for lunch, and you spent all morning long making 1,000 decisions when you could have done all of that, over time and not had to make all those decisions."
Or you went to a network meeting last night, and you
exactly
got tired and all that kind of stuff.
So the beauty of what it is that AI can do for you is to be able to put all of that into context and give you much more intelligent answers than what it is that we're asking it to do right now. So, it's you can't judge the most powerful cognitive tool that's ever been created by how well it answered your average question.
I get that, and I have to learn how to think about it in that fashion in order for me to do what you're suggesting, right? Because if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying, hey, this might even be able to replace people, people in certain offices, right? And we already talked about the elimination of tasks.
Right.
So once you know how to use it, I guess, that ongoing elimination of tasks we talked about in previous shows. If you got 5 project managers and you eliminate half of all their tasks, immediately you only need 2.5 project managers, right? So we have some understanding. Anybody that's been watching our shows has some understanding of that, right?
Right.
Of that. So now comes, how do I use that? How does that make sense for me? Is it possible for me to use it to take advantage of? And I hate to say take advantage. I mean, nobody wants to eliminate workers, or jobs or anything like that. But we're all about profitability and productivity, right? Or productivity and profitability.
Right.
So then what?
Yeah, no, you have to teach it about you, about your business, about your specifics, about all of the things that are going on. And the more information that it has, the much more intelligent the answers are. And the thing that we're trying to do is not just cut people out of our processes, but to make sure that we're doing the best job we can in the most efficient manner. And if that's giving back somebody half of their time from tasks that have to get done, or showing them how to do it in half of their time, then the rest of that time can be used for growing your business, doing more important things like making your relationships more solid, the things that we can do as humans. So,
okay, hold on. So I told you I read the dispatch.
You read it.
Right? I read the dispatch, and I got to my favorite part of this week's dispatch. And I'm hoping this is where we're going to talk about this right now, right? Because you're constantly talking about your book, right? You're constantly talking about the code. And my favorite, I don't know that it's my favorite, but your element 13, right?
yeah.
Force multiplication, man. I love force multiplication. I'm constantly talking about force multiplication and didn't even know that I'm constantly talking about force multiplication.
Yeah.
So shed some light for me on force multiplication, please.
All right. So in my upcoming book, the Second Half Manifesto, How to Stay Dangerous When AI and Society Want You Obsolete, we do talk about element 13, force multiplication, and using as leverage capital, people, tools, and in this case, intelligence, to make sure that I can not just add to my life, but multiply the outlet the output that we're able to do. It's about not being smarter. It's about extending what you're able to do.
Me in particular, right?
You in particular,
all the hats
business,
I have to wear on a daily basis, all the concerns I have. Right. Okay.
Right. So all of that. Now, and to make this tool, this intelligence better is where we were talking about. You need to use it as a thinking partner, as a world-class consultant, so that it can look at everything that it knows from outside of your organization and find the best results in how to get that put into your organization. The AIs have gotten so much better over the last 6 months. Every single one of the models, they have persistent knowledge now. They're not forgetting things. They're hallucinating so much less. They're putting out so much better output than they were just 6 months ago, and it was fantastic then. But you need to be the one that is putting that to use. It's all on you. It's what you teach it to make it so much smarter and more intelligent for you, not just AI smart.
So based on what you've told me, this thing can not only do the high level, you can have high level discussions with it as a business owner related to where your business might be going. But I mean, it can even handle the mundane tasks of your schedule, responding to your emails, sending internal letters or internal memos to the people in your organization on a weekly basis, right? Or a daily basis, or, give nudges in your office, or provide them with referrals, or analyze referral lists and leads. So it can do all of that, right? So if you can help it, if you can make it do that, boom, that's what we're talking about in the force multiplication of it, right?
That's correct.
Boom. So those are a lot of things that I have to learn to add to my tool. But this week, is there anything I can do this week? What's the move this week that we can offer, our guys? Because it might be overwhelming when you hear, all that it can do, and you start scratching your head like, hey, shit, I need to make it do all this. So,
yeah, your move this week. It's really simple. Have a conversation.
Okay.
Stop asking questions and have a conversation. Open it up. Open up your computer or phone. Open any one of the models. I don't care which one it is. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever one you want, right? Go to the text box, but don't ask it a question, right? That's what I want you to do.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
I don't want you to
ask a question.
Right. Second thing is tell them what you're working on right now. What specific project, what problem is coming up? What decision that you have to make that's really bothering you or consuming all of your attention? And then let it know what's really keeping you up at night. What are you having a really hard time with that you wish you could figure out so you could just get it done and move on in the best manner you have? Do all of that and then ask a question. And the only question you have to ask is, based on what I just told you, what am I not seeing? That's it. That's a conversation, because it's going to come back with something that's an answer from all of that context that you gave it, all of the things that are going on, and it's not going to give you an answer like, this is what you should do. You asked it. What are you not seeing? It's going to respond and continue the conversation. It's not a Google search. It's a conversation.
So you should anticipate it even asking you questions, right, to further that conversation and provide you good information as well, right?
If it doesn't ask you questions, you're not using it right. It's the first thing it'll do. It'll ask some clarifying questions and try to understand exactly what it is that you're talking about, and keep on going. Just keep that conversation alive, and you'll get to places that you never thought were possible from just asking it a question.
Okay, so this information again is covered right in the weekly dispatch. It's our newsletter. It's free, right? So there's no expense. All they have to do is download it, right? Go ahead. Tell me where I can get it, Russ. Where can I get the dispatch?
Go and subscribe to our newsletter at secondhalfman.com/newsletter. secondhalfman.com/newsletter, and you'll get the dispatch in your inbox every Sunday.
Okay, so this is the Second Half Man Show. Right? I'm 601. We're here today. We spoke about how to use the world's most effective tool in your arsenal, right? If you like what we talked about today, please hit that like button. Don't be afraid to subscribe. Leave us some comments. One more reminder, all of our episodes are in our library on YouTube at the Second Half Man Show. I know, Russ, tell me, what's the one truth?
AI doesn't get smarter. You get smarter at commanding it. And that's the difference between a tool sitting on your desk and a weapon in your hands. use it this week.
Tell us about all the good things coming. What do we got? What's going to be on the way for our guys?
Oh, we got all kind of good things. The second half manifesto is getting close to being released. I'll let you know when that comes out, and that's going to be the biggest thing. Our Ascent program, our 12-week program, is all about transformation, help you get from information to intelligence in every aspect of your life, every domain of your life, not just business or health, but all of it. And we are taking applications for that now. It's a cohort that starts here pretty quickly, so we're looking forward to that. You can get information on that below in the show notes.
So until next week, I'm 601.
I'm Russ Borden.
Stay dangerous.